The reason for the Israel-Palestine issue is often misunderstood. While some believe it has been ongoing for centuries, the focus should be on events of the past decade. This conflict is primarily political and centered around land, rather than religious differences. Both Israel and Palestine are located in the Arabian Peninsula. In terms of international recognition, some countries acknowledge Palestine as a separate nation, while others support Israel. Jerusalem is a major point of contention between the two, as it holds religious significance for Muslims, Christians, and Jews. Israel has control over Jerusalem, and many important buildings are located there. The capital of Israel is recognized by only a few countries, while most consider Tel Aviv as the capital. Palestine was previously part of the Ottoman Empire and had a diverse population, with Muslims comprising around 80%, Christians 10%, and Jews 3%. During the late 1800s, a movement called Zionism emerged, led by Theodor Herzl. The goal was to establish a Jewish national homeland in Israel. Many Jewish people began immigrating to Palestine, particularly during World War I, when Britain sought support from both Arabs and Jews to defeat the Ottoman Empire. The Balfour Declaration promised support for a Jewish national homeland in Palestine. British and French agreements divided the region, with Britain ruling over Palestine. British authorities imposed restrictions on Jewish immigration, leading to tensions between the Jewish and Palestinian populations. Jewish people fleeing persecution, particularly from Germany during World War II, sought refuge in Palestine. After World War II, Britain relinquished control over the region and appealed to the United Nations for a solution. The UN proposed dividing the land into two separate areas, with Jerusalem remaining an international city accessible to all. Israel accepted this solution, and in 1948, it became a recognized state. However, many Arab countries opposed this decision and engaged in wars with Israel, resulting in Israel gaining more territory, including Jerusalem. Efforts for peace have been made, including the 1967 Six-Day War and subsequent UN intervention. However, the conflict between Israel and Palestine continues, with Palestinians seeking an independent state, while some Israelis continue to establish settlements in the West Bank. The situation is not solely based on religion, but is deeply rooted in the desire for self-determination and control over the land. The demarcated region known as Palestine has been a site of ongoing conflict and settlement. The Israeli military has been involved in protecting the area, which has led to tensions and violence. In the 1980s, there was a significant shaking of Palestine, starting as a peaceful movement, but escalating into violent activity. During this time, the militant organization Hamas emerged in the region, gaining support through social activities. As extreme organizations became more involved, the conflict intensified, drawing attention from the international community. In 1993, the Oslo Accord was signed, aiming to halt movement and establish separate countries for Israel and Palestine, with the latter receiving a more liberal government. However, extreme organizations like Hamas and similar Israeli groups opposed this agreement, desiring sole control over the entire region. This led to violent encounters and a lack of successful treaties. The origins of these issues can be traced back to the colonial actions of Britain and France, as well as the rise of extremist organizations. Jerusalem, a significant religious site for multiple faiths, has been a center of controversy. The Israeli government's plans to construct a synagogue in Jerusalem have sparked protests, with restrictions being imposed on visitors by the Israeli government. These restrictions have led to further protests and clashes with law enforcement. The situation escalated with the involvement of groups like Hamas, resulting in missile exchanges between Israel and Palestine. It is important to note that this conflict has deep historical roots spanning nearly a century.